Chapter 30. I guess I forgot to empty out the bag. I couldn't remember where I had left it, but obviously my mother had stumbled across it. You could almost see the stink fumes rising out of it. I was going to take it, but my mother had other ideas. She let go of her nose, held her breath, and turned the bag upside down. Stuff came falling onto the back steps. Socks, shirts, jocks, towels, candy wrappers, pizza crusts, Cheerios, mouse. Mouse? Abby shrieked, "Mouse!" It was a mouse, all right. It landed on a sock and scampered over a shirt, down the steps and into the grass. I ran the opposite way. Abby went after it. "Here, Mousie! Here, Mousie!" At first, I thought she was trying to catch it. Then I realized she was herding it toward the wood pile. I couldn't see it in the grass. It looked like my sister was chasing a ghost. Finally, she stopped in front of the pile. "I think he's in there," she whispered. She patted the pile. "Make yourself at home, Mousie." "The wood goes," my father said. Abby planted herself in front of the pile and folded her arms. The wood was going to go over her dead body. I was shaky the rest of the day. As I was picking up from the back steps, I noticed a clump of stuff. Pieces of paper, cloth, thread, dust balls, Kleenex, all wadded up. The mouse's nest. The rodent had been living in my laundry bag, probably since the football season started. It had been stealing Cheerios. I had carried that bag back and forth to school every day. I thought about the times I had stuck my hand in to pull something out. For 2 months, I was inches from a rodent. I carried a rodent around. We ate the same cereal. We slept in the same room. I heard something outside. I looked out my window. Abby was slamming sticks into the wheelbarrow. The pile was shrinking. My father had won. That night, when the mouse thing started to wear off, my mind went back to the football game, to Scooter, to the tackle. Why did I do it? I was just being me, that's all. The crash man. I mean, it's true I was a little mad at Scooter all week. It was his fault that he pressed the wrong button on the camcorder and none of the film turned out, so there was no movie of the day I broke the single-season scoring record. Okay, so I was a little upset about it. Who wouldn't be? But that's not why I tackled him. That night, I heard him telling stories and Abby laughing in his room. They called for me. I said I was busy. Real late, after midnight, I got out of bed and went down the hallway. The house was silent. All the bedroom doors were closed. As quiet as I could, I turned his doorknob, pushed open the door. The edge of the hallway light rolled up the bedspread like some little sunrise. When it got to the head of the bed, I almost croaked. It wasn't him. It was my sister. I closed the door and went back down the hall. It felt like the pictures on the wall were looking at me. I opened my sister's door. There he was. Abby must have fallen asleep in his bed, so he just switched rooms with her. I stood at the doorway, looking. He was sleeping on his back. He wore a tank top undershirt. And he was old. I had never seen it before. Not in the kitchen, not at the football games, not when he took us places. But now, sleeping in the bed of my 10-year-old sister, on her Sylvester sheets and Tweety pillowcase, he was just about as old as anybody I ever saw. I didn't like it. I closed the door and went back to bed. I hadn't used my nightlight for a long time. I turned it on. I had a hard time getting to sleep. I wanted them back in their right rooms. The next day, when I checked the backyard, the woodpile was gone. Where it used to be was now Abby's old dollhouse. Chapter 31. December 19th. Scooter is in the hospital.